Okay then, I'll tell you how I met Elvis.
Hi, this is the Professional Amateur Hour coming to you with another review. This time we're looking at the 2020 movie Elvis from Outer Space. It's directed by Marv Silverman and Tracy Wershpard and stars George Thomas, Diane Yang Kirk, and Frank Cavestany. The story of this movie is that Elvis Presley, you know him, well, he didn't die when he did. He was actually transferred to a spaceship, but he was dying, so they took his spirit and put it into another body. And they kept him for a while, you know, they loved his music, going to his concerts, and so he kind of traveled the galaxy doing that. But then he got homesick, and so he started singing the sad Elvis Presley songs. And that in turn made the aliens sad. So they thought, you know, if you gotta cheer him up, let's send him back to Earth for a little bit. So they come back to Earth and drop him off, and that's kind of where the story starts. After that, Elvis does enter a contest for Elvis impersonators, which is fun. And he also has to deal with the CIA because they don't like that he's back. So what will happen exactly? You'll have to watch and find out. All right, so what works with this movie? Well, I had a lot of fun watching this movie. It is silly fun or stupid fun where you kind of just watch and see, you know, unexpected things happen. You know, Elvis Presley, he's back. He's in this bio suit. And now he knows Kung Fu. And every time he punches, you know, some lightning comes out, just like this. And there's also this fun musical competition. It's the 1970s image of Elvis, even though they have the 1970s competition or title for the competition. It might not be in 1970s since they're all using flip phones and whatnot. And that's lots of fun. It's cool to see all the contestants try to psych each other out and their kind of rivalry and stuff. That's lots of fun. So it is a silly movie that, you know, does turn out to be pretty fun. Also, while watching this, I got a lot of like Neil Breen type of vibes from this movie. He's written things like Pass Through or Double Down and a bunch of other ones. And I kind of got that vibe from him. I know he always plays like a Space Jesus type of character. Well, this is Space Elvis. And so just how the movie's shot, how the story is told, the effects and that type of stuff, all really add up to kind of this Neil Breen-esque style of movie. And I do enjoy Neil Breen. I think he's, you know, he's a weird guy making weird movies. And it gives you that vibe. And so I did really like that as well. And part of that vibe did come from the storytelling itself. They have a narrator, but the narrator is pretty inconsistent. At like some point he's like, oh, let me tell you how I met Elvis, even though he's been talking to you, you know, for 20-30 minutes. And you're like, wait, the narrator is in the movie? And so the narrator has this odd tendency to sometimes talk about stuff that he clearly should have no idea about at that time, and then also about his kind of feelings at that point in the movie. So it switches back and forth, which is, you know, very peculiar. And then, of course, there's Barry. Barry is like this morning news host type of guy who is pretty ridiculous. This kind of like thrown in there. I don't know what it is, maybe like a critique on morning shows or whatever, or time filler, but it's thrown in there. Made me chuckle the first time I saw it. Not so much the other times, but it does get, you know, that story told. As for the acting, I think everyone did a good job. You could definitely tell that everyone was really enjoying their characters, enjoying their time on set, and really, like, you know, making friends and whatnot. Even the what is it, Elvis impersonators, you could tell that they were all having lots of fun. They're all trying their hardest to be, you know, real competitors and whatnot. Even Frank, you know, Frank kind of called it in. He's in this like dark room alone with some TVs and stuff, but you can tell he's trying to enjoy himself. So everyone did a good job. All right, so what doesn't work with this film? Well, this one, you know, with B movies, we can forgive quite a bit of bad CGI, but this CGI is pretty bad. It's straight out of 1998. Like, Eiffel 65, that type of quality or level of CGI. And it's kind of surprising in 2020 that they have this CGI. It does add kind of to that Neil Breen-esque characteristic where the CGI is not the best. And but I would say it's quite distracting when it is on screen. It gets its point across just fine, and it's not like the main part of the movie. But yeah, just very strange. It did make me laugh and kind of had a little bit of charm to it, but yeah, it wasn't the best. And I know I mentioned the storytelling style in the good points, but I would also mention it now. Again, it's very kind of this convoluted storytelling where they might have this narrator, but then they also have like TV inserts, plus this thing going on at Area 52 in this black room. And so the story is all over the place, but it does kind of make a cohesive story, which is just very convoluted. And lastly, they have some unbelievable sets. And by that, I mean I do not believe them for what they were supposed to be. At one point, they were kind of infiltrating this Area 52 area, but it's clearly just like a white hall in some factory or warehouse. And I'm supposed to believe that this is like the CIA headquarters for the aliens and stuff, or like Area 51 style of building. Yeah, so there are some things I definitely could not believe like that. They have a little concert venue, I can believe that's a concert venue and that type of stuff. So yeah, they just have some like really kind of cheap settings like that. So who would I recommend this movie to? Well, I think there's a show on the internet called Best of the Worst, where they review kind of bad movies side by side. I think this movie could show up on there and fit in perfectly fine. So if you're into that show and you like watching that style of movies, this is probably going to be the movie for you. If you're just like a sci-fi fan, I think you wouldn't really enjoy it. It's a little bit wacky, and again, like the CGI is very dated. But yeah, it definitely fits into Best of the Worst. As for a rating, I gotta give it a 4. It's just a stupid, silly, fun movie that you can enjoy at home. Having said that, I think that's it from me. So like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.